companies, the new labor codes have come in and will have some impact, for gig workers and for EBITDA margins. It's not clear to what extent. I mean, these companies are coming and saying that we've already extended some of these benefits, but there's a difference between extending voluntarily, and then having a cap, which the government has now in its labor code said that itna to aapko kharcha karna padega. Do you see any impact there?
So I think I just read on your channel only that 4 to 10% EBITDA impact people are saying. I am not going to too much into depth. I am just saying that the market caps which are being generously given by markets right now for some of the cash burning business, out of this some of them are cash burning. That I really don't like. Otherwise, it's okay. It's a 3-player market and all that is fine. But for some futuristic assumption of 2029 and 30, you give market cap of 1 lakh crore today. That doesn't go well with me.
Yeah. No.
And so this kind of problems can come. That is why I'm saying you should not overpay.
Yeah, because they will always be open to, it's a new business, so it will always be open to more regulation coming in. In fact, let me go across to Mahima for more on what exactly these labor codes are. Now, we're going to be covering the labor codes because it's vast, right? It's 4 new labor codes, but it's vast in terms of its impact. So, all day on NDTV Profit, you'll see us covering the new labor codes from various angles, including what happens to your take-home pay if you're a salaried employee, all of those aspects, what it means for companies. But this morning, we're talking about, and what Mahima is talking about right now, is the impact for companies that hire gig workers in large numbers. Yes, Mahima?
Right, Tamana. So, as you rightly mentioned, just to give viewers a perspective, so what has happened is that Ministry of Labour has come out with a labour code which will impact gig workers directly in a positive way. But this could, have some impact or bearing on companies like Eternal, Swiggy or something like an urban company as well. So, basically, what will happen is going forward, around 1 to 2% minimum is what they'll have to spend from their turnover for these gig workers' welfare, and the maximum of this could be kept at around 5%. For this, Eternal has said that new rules will not be detrimental to long-term health and sustainability of the business. That's not something that they're seeing right now. Swiggy has also said that it does not anticipate any material impact on business sustainability, its cost structure as well as long-term financial performance. Now, if we take a look at the overall working as to how this can pan out for all of these companies, there's a Morgan Stanley note that explains this very well. Now, if we take a look at all of these 3 companies in terms of how the revenue per order is, and from this, if we take a look at the minimum spend that they have to do, that is 1 to 2%. That ranges anywhere between 0.95 to almost 8.8 to 9 rupees for these companies. Now, this in terms of where the minimum contribution stands and versus the maximum contribution, that is at 5%, that ranges anywhere between 0.95% to this is the minimum contribution, but contribution payout at 5% should be maximum for something like an urban company, because of course their overall order size is also very big. But this impact overall in terms of percentage on their EBITDA could be anywhere between slightly at that 3.7% for Eternal in terms of food delivery to almost a 10% for something like an urban company on their EBITDA. But largely from what I read from the brokerages as well, it gets concluded that a lot of this will be passed on to consumers. So that is one thing. And overall, analysts also believe that this potentially could be shared between a lot of overall stakeholders eventually, and this would also reduce the overall burden on platform companies as well. So we'll have to wait and watch out for as to how gradually they pass it on to customers, because they've been raising convenience fee anyways. So that transition as to how much time it takes place, we'll have to see that.
Well, thank you, Mahima, for giving that insight on what could be the impact on Eternal, Swiggy and urban company. Well, with that, it's time for a short break. We'll be back with more news on the other side.